So the other day, I'm woken up at 3:20 in the morning. My wife wakes me up. My neighbor's calling her, and he says, "Hey, somebody just walked off with something of yours." Completely outrageous. Cycleboard. Somebody literally came in my driveway. My kids were on the cycle boards all day that day. Then we went out on a boat. Ended up coming home, not putting the cycle board away. Obviously my mistake. So very, very much so a frustrating scenario. The gentleman was noticed by my neighbor walking on his camera towards my house on the sidewalk. My neighbor looks at the camera, notices the dude. Then the dude, all of a sudden, my neighbor's camera goes off again. Mind you, my cameras are tilted a little bit down so it didn't catch the end of my driveway. So what happens? He's dragging the scooter. I will add the picture or the video. He's basically picks up the cycle board by the handlebars, grabs the charger that might have been connected to it, and walks off. $3,000 unit. Walks off. My neighbor sees him. Again, camera goes off. Boom, sees him walking, dragging a scooter. Where I live, nobody really has these Cycleboard Rovers. Like I said, they're $3,000 units. We've had them well over a year, 2 summers for sure. My wife and kids have never seen anybody. They ride in one of the busiest areas. Never seen them around here. So he walked off with the scooter. My neighbor runs out, sees him getting in the car after, he must have put it in his trunk and he's getting in the car. My neighbor runs back in the house. He runs back in the house. He grabs his keys, takes off down the street. Notices a car. Actually, he took off down the street going one way. He didn't see any cars. He started coming back the other way. He seen a white car. Turned around. It's a rental. African dude driving. Caucasian girl in the passenger. It's a rental. It's 3:20 in the morning. No other cars on the street. Got the plates. So right now I put a $1,500 reward out there. I don't want the cops called. I just want to know where it's at so I can go pick it up. It's frustrating because we have all the ATVs and all the Segways and everything. The ATVs actually have GPS trackers in them by a company. I actually buy them through Amazon. It's just a little tracker. Got one in the trailer, just in case anybody tries to walk off with the trailer. You're not gonna be gone very long. I'll be able to track it for sure. So I never put them in the Segways. I never realized there was even enough space to put them in there. I should have. It's a dumb question. But they are $3,000 units. There should have been trackers in them, no question. So now I ordered all new trackers to go in the Segway go-karts and in the cycle boards. Hopefully I find it and I will update it the moment that I do find it, because I will find it. There's literally nobody's gonna have those around here. So the person is gonna get caught with it. Without question, the person is gonna get caught with it. There's serial numbers in a few spots on them. there's some indications on that unit that it's mine. So that unit is very clear that it's my unit. I would be able to tell it whether it's painted or not painted. I'd be able to tell it's my unit. I called a few of the pawn shops. Around here, though, they buy stolen shit, so they're a little slick. You gotta be careful how you call and ask for things. Probably better to go in. But it's definitely a frustrating scenario. We have 4 of those units, 5 of those units, and 7 Segway go-karts. So it's definitely a unique situation. But hopefully we find it sooner than later. The individual just, I mean, it was crazy how they just walked right up. You'll see in the video, they just walked right up and walked right away with it like it was nothing. So lesson to be learned. If you're buying, if you have multiple units of toys or things that are somewhat expensive in the thousands, I would highly recommend throwing in GPS trackers. You can turn the trackers on to basically relay approximately. You can do every minute. You can do every 30 seconds. You can do every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, every day, every 5 days, 7 days, whatever you choose. You could put these trackers in, and that just changes how long the battery lasts. It's really worth it. They charge in like 40 minutes. When you charge them, you can run them to 12 volt. They are ran in most of my other units, in the vehicles and in the trailer. They're ran to to the power, so they're usually, I wouldn't ever have to touch them. But yeah, the Segway got taken. So, or the Cycleboard Rover got taken. $3,000 unit. So we definitely will be updating that whole process and how to put a tracker in it. That will be the next video, and we're gonna find it for sure, and then we're gonna post it. So just remember, if you're buying expensive units and you got different toys that are expensive and you don't want to just shell out a whole thousands of dollars to replace it or make it a claim, which I've had, something stolen last year around this time. It's a pain in the butt, man, dealing with the company, dealing with your insurance. Anytime you have an issue like that, my issue with it, I'm not going to say my insurance company's name, but they were somewhat of a pain in the butt. And, they ask you these questions like you're some kind of criminal. And the thing is I'm like, at the end of the conversation, I said, look, dude, they send you over to like 3 or 4 different people. Some guy is like, an investigating guy or whatever he is there, because they're going to flag you when you're talking about expensive stuff. I had some very expensive stuff stolen last year. The thing is, I'm like, look, dude, just in toys alone, the ATVs, the trailer, the dirt bike, the boat, the cars, that are the toys, like the Hellcat and the Bronco. Those are toys. Those aren't really, they're not, they're recreational, right? Those things, I can't use them day to day or most of the year anyway. So they're recreational things. When you put the numbers together, I have that company insuring, just in toys and in the recreational vehicles, probably $250,000 to $300,000 in recreational things. So I said, look, dude, look at what I'm insuring here, man. I don't, let's be serious for a minute. I said, look, we pay insurance companies, And I get people run, they run through insurance companies with different nonsense. But I said, look, man, I pay you guys. This is what I need. And they looked at it and they said, okay, yeah, that's true. You're right. We'll take care of it. So they did a good job taking care of me in the end. But it was a big hassle. I don't ever want to have to call them for nothing again. I hated having to call them for that. But items are just too expensive. Thank goodness at that time I had 5 go-karts in the driveway, 3 Cycleboard Rovers in the driveway. I had the lights off, so it was a little dark, and the camera actually triggers the light, but they just didn't move close enough. I don't know how it didn't catch it, because when my neighbor came through a little while after that, when he went to look in the driveway, the camera went off. So, I've never had a problem with the Arlo systems, but twice I've noticed an issue. This is one of them. The other issue is I had a neighbor get a car repoed, and I never seen the car get taken. And my cameras were facing, my cameras face the road. If cars go by, they go off. The driveway camera I tilted down because it was just dying too much. I was getting thousands of people go by a day, so it was just dying in days. So I moved it down a little bit just to keep it tilted towards the sidewalk and driveway. And it may have just been down too much, and it didn't catch when it was that dark. It didn't catch him. So very, very frustrating, very upset, and but we moved forward. I was a kid once. We did silly stuff. We drove around cars that were parked at Sears auto centers and stuff, and do all sorts of stuff with them. But you know, you know, those things happen, and you gotta live with it. But when I do find it, you can rest assured that I'm taking it without question. There ain't nothing gonna stop me from taking it. I'm not calling anybody. I'm not doing anything else besides taking it. I'm gonna put it right back where it's at, and the GPS trackers will be in them. Hopefully this week, and I'll do a video on putting a GPS tracker in your cycleboard rover, because there's thieves out there, a lot of thieves out there. So at least and they can find the tracker. There's no question. People are slick, but by the time they've taken it to where they're gonna go, most likely is gonna be a normal spot for them. So you'll be able to, take advantage of having that tracker log its entire movement, and you know that's what it is. So I will update on this. Thanks for watching.